When a woman wants money
Now, where were we?
more than love or loved ones, coffers empty and coffins fill. Seductive charm masks an English rose's lethal intentions.
The trail of devastated, demoralized, destitute men.
A prim and proper wife has a morbid obsession.
So fascinated by death, she had the local mortician on speed dial.
And filling a child with hate backfires on a mom.
Once you looked at that face, somebody experienced a frightful moment.
These deadly women take lives and livelihoods. They have insatiable greed. Rustington, Southern England, 1998. Two-time divorcee, 38-year-old Dina Webb is again looking for love.
Bubbly blonde who loves a laugh seeks the company of a like-minded man.
Dina would meet men mostly through Lonely Hearts columns.
Hello? Yes, I'm the bubbly blonde. Thank you for ringing.
A lot of men wanted to meet Dina, and she had her pick.
What's your name?
They were ready to fall in love.
Her ad lures another divorcee, Richard Thompson, a successful manager working for a global telecommunications company.
Dina could read men brilliantly. She would very quickly identify whether they had money, what their hopes were, what their ambitions were.
Richard thought he had met his soulmate. He liked deep-sea fishing. She claimed that she liked deep-sea fishing as well.
Hey, I got lots of contacts in America.
He was amazed that someone would care about him that much.
You think we could?
Definitely.
A whirlwind romance leads to marriage. The couple share more than a bed. They share their assets, too. And Richard isn't the only one with money.
Dina told Richard she had won the lottery.
She told Richard that she had a contact in America that would make him tens of millions of pounds.
But before the newlyweds depart for the States, Dina plans a special going-away present.
Dina used a promise of wild sex to get Richard into a compromising, helpless position.
Pretty kinky.
You'll love it.
He lay there expecting something sexual to happen.
What are you doing?
Just getting ready.
After the first blow, he was confused. The second blow on his head, and he suddenly thought, I'm fighting for my life here.
She then tries to stab him, but he's fortunate enough he's able to release his hands.
Drop the knife, or I'll break your eyes out! What the hell is going on?
Richard saves his life, but not his livelihood. Dina has cleaned out all his accounts.
He suddenly realized that all his money had been drained, that he made out his will to her, he'd given her power of attorney over his affairs. And suddenly the penny drops. Basically, he wasn't meant to be here.
Dina would set her sights on a victim based on two things. Could she get access to their finances? And could she hurt them?
Police think they've got a winning case, and Richard is their star witness. But Dina's got a story to tell the jury, too.
She admitted to Richard that she'd conned him. He flew into a blind rage and attacked her. And that to defend herself, she picked up a baseball bat.
Dina worked her magic on an entire jury and convinced them that she was the victim.
It's probably the most staggering court verdict I've ever had.
But Dina can't talk her way out of defrauding Richard and gets 3 years and 9 months in jail. Frustrated police look deeper into Dina's past and find trouble.
The trail of devastated, demoralised, destitute, financially bankrupt men.
In 1982, Dina's first husband, Lee, is promised a life of riches.
They love Sean the leprechaun.
You're joking.
They are offering us a fortune.
She tells him they are going to be millionaires, thanks to a tiny leprechaun.
They came up with this idea for a stuffed toy. They called this character Sean the leprechaun. Dina told everybody that it was going to go global.
Dina isn't the only one who believes in the leprechaun. She claims a global toy company based in the States wants a piece of the action.
You clever woman.
She produced letters to persuade him that, in fact, they had got interest from these huge companies.
We're going to be so rich.
So Lee gave up his day job. They devoted all their time to Sean the leprechaun.
But there's no contract and no money coming in. They're broke, and debt collectors are knocking on the door. Fearing she'll be found out, Dina makes up another outrageous story.
She then came up with this story to tell Lee that the mafia had got involved.
Thank God you're home. He followed me.
Wow.
He said they were going to kill you.
So when bailiffs visited to get money because they'd fallen into debt because they weren't working, Lee believed that they were mafia people come to get him.
What are we going to do?
You have to get away.
It sounds absurd, but if you'd been in Dina's world for several years with a drip, 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 drip of mind control, then you might actually believe what she was saying.
Dina played with Lee like a cat plays with a wounded mouse, and she enjoyed it.
Believing his life is in danger, Lee agrees to go into hiding.
He disappeared for years. He changed his identity, slept rough all over England.
While Dina enjoys all the comforts of home, Lee spends 3 years underground, always hoping he can return to his wife.
Hello?
Is it safe to come home yet?
No, it's still not safe.
I can't do it this much longer.
You have to. For me. For us.
Lee always believed that he was doing the right thing, that one day the phone call would come saying, come back, and it never came.
I should go. We don't want them to trace the call.
There will be no homecoming for Lee and no divorce. Not even when Dina moves on to second husband, Julian Webb.
Just Mum. Her usual bad timing. Now, where were we?
Dina is not just a liar. She is now a bigamist.
Dina chose her victims very well. Sociopaths are good at choosing people they sense they can manipulate.
Once again, Dina spins a tall story of a wealthy life in the States.
They were going to emigrate to America and that he'd been offered a job out there.
She had this American dream that all the men talked about, and we never actually really got to the bottom of why.
They should be celebrating. But Julian is in no shape to party. June 30th, 1994. A sleepy suburb near Littlehampton in the south of England.
What are we going to do?
You have to get away.
34-year-old Dina Webb has one husband on the run from the mafia. and another dying in her bed.
We had our suspicions that everything was not quite as it should be. He was off sick, and uncharacteristically, we didn't hear anything from him. And on the second day when he didn't appear, a colleague actually rang Dina and asked about Julian. And she said, oh, he's sick, and put the phone down.
A number of people had called the house, and Dina had told a number of stories about why he couldn't come to the phone.
Nobody knows what was going on in the house during that time.
Dina finally calls for help.
They found Julian on the bed. His body was already quite rigid. Dina presented the paramedics with a bottle of tablets saying,
This is what he took.
Dina claims Julian has taken antidepressants, but that is hard for his family to swallow.
Julian was a fitness fanatic. He didn't drink, he didn't take drugs, he wouldn't even take an aspirin.
Dina may be slow to call the paramedics, but she's quick to call about his insurance benefits.
She appeared on the doorstep of the office the following morning.
Hello, Dina.
Julian is dead.
She said, Julian's dead. I need to know about his insurance money. And it was all in the same breath. And I thought, wow, this can't be for real.
An autopsy concludes a fatal overdose is the likely cause of death.
Although it was treated as suspicious, and although there were anomalies in her story, it was never really investigated as a murder. And that's how the matter rested for several years.
Dina gets away with murder once, but her attack on Richard Thompson will be her undoing.
Lightning never strikes twice. And when I heard about the other case that she'd been investigating for, that immediately aroused my interest.
We then reopened the investigation into the suspicious death of Julian Webb.
6 years after his death, Julian's body is exhumed and examined by top forensic scientists. They confirm antidepressants caused his death, but not one dose.
We were able to involve international toxicological experts who were able to examine his stomach contents, his blood content, and what these experts were able to say was that this couldn't have been a suicide. This must have been infused into the body over 3 or 4 days.
Dina's unsavory side is exposed.
Dina had cooked a hot curry for Julian in the week before he died.
Here you go.
You're not having any?
No, I'm full.
This is my favourite.
Yeah, no.
We believe that she'd crushed the drugs into the curry and he'd eaten it, and then it'd get sent him into a stupor over a few days.
Too weak to move, Julian is totally vulnerable.
The last days of Julian Webb would have been horrific as he lay there knowing that something was happening to him. But no doctor came, his mother didn't come, no friends came to the house. He was totally isolated.
9 years after Julian dies, his killer is finally revealed. In 2003, Dina Thompson receives life with a minimum of 16 years for murder.
Dina was a master manipulator of other people. One husband murdered. Another almost murdered. And a third on the run.
I've dealt with 50-odd murders. I have nightmares about 2. One of them is this case.
Here you go.
And the reason I still have nightmares about it is I worry about when did he realise that instead of a lover, he was dealing with a killer.
Coming to terms with the death of loved ones
It was a slow, twisty, horrible kind of death.
No.
is difficult for most people.
Family members were dropping like flies.
But there are rare exceptions.
Louise was so fascinated by death, she had the local mortician on speed dial.
In the 1900s, women know their place is in the home, raising a family. But one young Chicago wife, Louise Breenkamp, doesn't really like children. She prefers the company of corpses.
She went to work for no pay, mind you, as an assistant to a local funeral home undertaker.
What are you doing here, Louise?
I heard about poor Mr. Pitt, taken so young. I thought I could help.
He recalled quite vividly her joy, almost gleeful exhilaration at the chance to embalm, at the chance to be around dead bodies.
Louise was sort of a death groupie. She just couldn't get enough of hanging around and seeing the dead bodies.
Her desire to be around corpses was because she was known as a necrophile, someone who becomes excited and aroused in the presence of dead bodies. It's very rare.
It's not that Louise has any spare time. By 25, she is caring for 5 stepchildren and struggling to keep her home orderly.
Frank, Lillian! Stop bickering!
To the annoyance of her much older husband, 60-year-old Fred.
Why can't you keep an orderly house? The children, this mess, it's an embarrassment.
Fred's complaints are short-lived. He soon succumbs to a mysterious illness.
There were no cures for what are commonly treated ailments today, and stomach problems were quite common.
So when he dropped dead, no one really considered anything nefarious.
Fred leaves his family well provided for, thanks to his life insurance. And Louise decides to invest it in death. She becomes a partner in a Chicago mortuary.
She took his insurance policy, roughly $2,000, and transferred it over to the Chicago Southside undertaker. She had promised that she would deliver to him clients.
True to her word, Louise delivers customers. The first, her 4-year-old stepdaughter, Florence.
Some soup.
Within a year, another stepdaughter. 8-year-old Cora suffers the same horrendous symptoms.
Horrible, horrible, prolonged stomach pain. It was a slow, twisty, horrible kind of death.
Grieving Louise is still young and beautiful, and soon has a new man to help her heal.
She finds a man named Charles who has a son named Harry, and she inserts herself into that family.
Father, I need to talk to you. Alone.
But not everyone is happy with their union. Charles's son Harry doesn't warm to his new stepmom.
Why don't you ask her about the proceeds from the property at Crystal Lake?
Charles, are you going to let him stand there and insult me?
He had the lingering suspicion that there was much more to this woman.
Why don't you prepare supper and we'll discuss this over a meal?
Of course. It would be my pleasure.
But before the dispute can be resolved, Harry is in the morgue.
No one really looked at Harry's death. She said that he died of heart failure, and they believed it.
Another stepdaughter, Lillian, soon joins him. And then, her new husband.
Next, Charles comes down with illness. He's very, very ill.
Charles died within 6 days of taking sick. Again, she collected a sizable insurance payout.
Everyone thought that Louise and her family were cursed. Her husbands, her stepchildren, they kept dying.
When her last surviving stepchild, Frank, is bedridden, his nurse is Louise.
Well, she looked after him, showing the angel of mercy side to them, the Florence Nightingale side.
He suffers for at least 6 months with his terrible illness while she's right by his side.
Trapped in bed, Frank has time to think.
No.
There's something wrong with that. I'm going the same way as Dad.
On his deathbed, he said, "I'm going to go the way of my father. I think I've been poisoned."
His death brings the toll to 2 husbands and 5 stepchildren. Despite so many deaths in the hands of one caretaker, there is no investigation. Nothing to stop Louise's deadly greed. Louise Vermilia is fascinated with death and corpses. In the early 20th century, she buys into a Chicago mortuary, then fills it with customers, her own family.
One after another dropped dead, and no one really questioned it because mortality was high.
The deaths set Louise up as a wealthy woman, thanks to life insurance payouts. She buys another business, a boarding house for lonely itinerant men.
Even as she advanced into middle age, she was still quite fetching, this beguiling temptress.
I suggest you take along. I make it plain so people can have their own.
Railroad conductor Richard Smith soon falls for her cooking and charm.
He became bewitched, if you will, by Louise and fell in love with her and began courting her quite seriously.
But Louise won't succumb to love without security.
He signed over his life insurance to her so she can cash in on that.
And then all of a sudden, he died.
Not one for grieving. Another boarder soon catches Louise's eye.
Arthur Bissonnette had just been admitted to the Chicago Police Department.
Who's he from?
My fiance.
Louise always gets the man she wants, but not this time. Arthur isn't falling for her.
Bissonnette was a young man, and Louise was quite older than him.
Ada?
He had a fiancée and was apparently engaged and was contemplating marriage.
If Arthur won't be her lover, Louise knows another way he can satisfy her.
Some more pepper?
Yes, please. Arthur gets violently ill and dies.
Louise always gets her man, dead or alive, but she prefers them dead.
She might have had a sexual gratification coming from the notion that she controlled the life and death process of her victims, that she could send a person to eternity through her own volition.
Not all necrophiles get their kicks simply hanging out at funeral homes. Some of them get their kicks by creating a dead body out of someone that they killed.
But this is one dead man too many. Arthur's father is suspicious and insists on an autopsy.
They actually looked for traces of arsenic, and they indeed found that. It seemed quite compelling, real proof that she was indeed a murderess.
Investigators start looking into Louise's past and find the trail of death. More bodies are exhumed and more arsenic found. Police realize Louise's murder weapon for decades has been a special seasoning.
She was using rough on rats, which was a rat poison full of arsenic.
She had a little pepper box that she would put grains of arsenic in, and she would sprinkle it over their food. This is how she administered poison to her victims.
With her poisoning exposed, police have a strong case for murder. But Louise isn't finished with her pepper box yet.
She took enough grains of arsenic to severely paralyze herself. She lost control of her feet, she could not walk, and she lost control of her hands.
It's a dangerous and audacious play for sympathy in court. But a wheelchair-bound beauty is a gift to her defense attorney.
He played her up as kind of a sob sister, if you will, a hard-working woman who had been plagued by tragedy her entire life. The jury did not hear any of the evidence that linked her to Fred Brinkamp, Charles Vermilya, Harry Vermilya, the three daughters of Brinkamp. None of that was admissible.
A sympathetic jury refuses to convict a crippled woman. A split decision means a mistrial, and the prosecution drops the case. In 1912, Louise Vermilya is wheeled out of court, a free woman.
This was a very soulless woman, completely lacking in compassion. There was no sense of guilt, there was no sense of remorse, and all of that adds up to a sociopath.
Louise received financial benefit from some of the murders, but not all of them. In addition to killing for money, she killed for pleasure.
Some people will hold tight to valuables at any cost.
The smell suddenly hit him.
Precious family heirlooms.
Books on Satanism and the occult were found near the garbage can.
Or mementos of loved ones.
The way that she kept her close to her was in a storage unit.
Caring for the elderly takes patience and kindness, attributes that 46-year-old Brookie Lee West lacks. When in the late 1990s, she moves to Las Vegas to nurse her ailing mom, Christine.
The medical provider expressed some concern that Christine was starting to show initial stages of Alzheimer's.
Brookie?
But her mother's plight doesn't soften Brookie's heart.
Brookie, would you pass me my medicine? I'm watching, Ma.
The relationship between Brookie and her mother was kind of a tortured history.
I have to do everything for you.
They lived together, yet they fought constantly.
I'm sick of you.
Brookie's a tough cookie, just like Mom.
She was from a very troubled background. Was extremely dysfunctional.
It's just not right for those colored folk to mix.
Her father, Leroy, indoctrinates young Brookie and her brother with hate.
He was a Satanist and dabbled in witchcraft and was also a white supremacist, pure hatred. Role models that present that type of lifestyle to any child, eventually you're going to soak up.
Mom, Christine, who should protect Brookie and her brother,
Mom, you in there?
is busy with another interest.
The man she was having an affair with in rural Texas was promising her the world.
I'm really hungry.
You kids get lost. I told you I'm busy.
And telling her that he was going to give Christine a new life.
Should we stop? Do you want to stop?
But the affair ends badly.
She pulled a shotgun out and shot the man at point-blank range.
It showed Brookie that she could take care of business violently, her own way, and that she could get away with it.
Christine goes to jail for attempted murder.
How was your day, all right?
It was all right, but I sure do need one of these.
Against all the odds, Brookie grows up to establish a good career.
She was a very successful person. She's making an excellent salary as a technical writer, doing very well.
But one thing she inherits from her mother is an attraction to a loser.
Howard Simon St. John was penniless, an alcoholic and drug addict.
The unlikely couple ties the knot. But it isn't long before there's conflict.
Honey, will you be so kind as to do a little favor for me?
Anything for you, honey.
Brookie wants Howard to torch her car for the insurance money.
She owned more money on the car than what it was worth.
I love you, honey, but you know I can't do that.
I give you all of this. I support you, and I just ask you one little thing.
No.
Brookie isn't one to take no for an answer.
There was a fight, and she had pulled out a little handgun.
Howard's lucky to be alive. The bullet grazes his neck. Police investigate, but no charges are filed. Brookie convinces them it's a case of self-defense.
A week later, Howard goes back to Brookie, and they rekindle their romance.
I'm sorry, my love.
It's a serious mistake, and the last Howard St. John will ever make. Brookie Lee West is raised by a violent and bigoted mom and dad. They teach her the worst of values. When Brookie's boyfriend refuses to commit insurance fraud, she shoots him. It's only a flesh wound. Remarkably, Howard forgives her and they reunite. But not for long. On June 6, 1994, his body is found lying in a national forest in California.
He was shot in the torso, but when he was found, he had a plastic bag covered over his face.
Police have a prime suspect, his wife, Brookie Lee West.
Authorities believe that Brookie killed Howard because he was in the way of her getting away with insurance fraud.
But Brookie isn't charged. No one is.
Prosecutors just simply felt that they didn't have quite enough evidence to file the murder charges.
To this day, remains an open homicide investigation.
Brookie leaves the controversy behind and moves to Las Vegas to be with her sick mom.
Brookie! Can you help me, please?
I think what attracted Brookie and her mother here is the easy living.
But it isn't long before Brookie thinks of her life as hard labor. And it gets worse as Christine's mind deteriorates.
Brookie always wanted to have a different life for herself and saw that her mom was holding her back from being able to experience that type of life.
Brookie has a solution to her problem. But it won't involve a loving reconciliation.
When Christine Smith was last seen alive, the neighbor said that she appeared to be in somewhat of a tired, lethargic state. She saw Brooke West walk in and say, "Here, Mom, take more pills. It'll be good for you. It'll make you feel better."
Sometime in 1998, Brookie decides to take care of her mother for good.
That night was the last time that anybody other than Brookie West saw Christine Smith alive.
Christine, who raises her daughter to believe violence solves problems, has raised her own killer.
Christine Smith's very own daughter was looking at her mother's eyes when she was pressing that plastic bag over her nose and mouth and knowing what she was doing, that she was ultimately going to kill the woman that brought her on this earth.
Brookie is prepared. She has a garbage can ready, but she doesn't dump Mom. She stores her.
The fact that Brookie had so many things with her to help her commit the murder, tape, the plastic bag, this garbage bin large enough for a person, speaks to premeditation. This was not an accidental murder or crime of passion. This was planned out.
While her mother rots, Brookie Lee cashes in.
She collected over $30,000 in Social Security benefits. Money mattered to Brookie Lee West. She cared about her wealth.
Christine's body stays in storage for 3 years, until February 2001, when a foul stench alerts a storage worker.
plastic lining had caused a leak, and so some of the fluids of this body was what caused the smell to start emanating outside the storage unit.
Next to the body, they found a bunch of books about Satanism and witchcraft.
They discovered a human form that had practically melted into the bottom of that garbage can. Once you looked at that face, it could be translated as somebody who had suddenly experienced a frightful moment.
Police don't have to look far for a suspect. The storage unit is rented in Brookie's name, and a single fingerprint confirms her involvement.
A single fingerprint was recovered from this plastic wrapping and conclusively identified as Brookie Lee West.
Brookie Lee West is charged with her mother's murder.
Brooke West claimed at trial that her mom died of natural causes, and 2 days later she realized, oh, I have a dead body in the bedroom and I need to do something.
Christine's body tells a different story.
One thing that you look for is you look for blowflies because they're the first colonizers of a dead body. And if it's exposed to the air for several hours, you would find blowflies. We never found blowflies.
It's a bug's life that seals Brookie's fate.
The lack of the blowflies clearly indicated that Brooke West planned, premeditated, and deliberated this murder.
The jury agrees, and Brookie is found guilty of murder in the first degree.
She's currently serving a life prison sentence without the possibility of parole. She will never get out of a Nevada State institution. This case is so unique. It all comes down to the type of background that Brookie had as a young girl. I don't think that fruit fell very far from the tree.
I think it's safe to say Brookie had no regard for her mother at all. The way she killed her and disposed of her, pretty heartless.
These deadly women sacrificed friends and family. Dina Thompson charmed her way to murder. Louise Vermilia cashed in on corpses. And Brookie Lee West taught Mom a lesson. All three women murdered for money. They were driven by insatiable greed.